There exists within you an instrument of such tremendous creative power that when properly understood and wielded with conviction, it can instantly reshape the very fabric of your financial reality. This instrument is not hidden in some distant realm or available only to a chosen few. It rests between your lips, ready to serve you every moment of every day. Your spoken word is far more than mere sound waves dissipating into the atmosphere. It is a living, breathing command that penetrates the invisible substance of creation itself, marshaling unseen forces and arranging circumstances according to your decree. When you truly comprehend this magnificent truth, you begin to understand why certain sacred combinations of words possess the power to unlock wealth instantly, while others seem to lock the doors of prosperity tighter with each utterance. Your voice is not simply a mechanism for communication. It is the royal scepter through which your divine nature exercises creative authority over the material world. Every syllable you speak with genuine conviction becomes a cosmic command that the universe must obey according to its own perfect and immutable laws. The ancient wisdom keepers understood what our modern world has largely forgotten in its pursuit of external solutions and material manipulations. They knew that the universe operates according to precise spiritual principles, and chief among these is the law governing the creative power of speech. When you speak, you are not merely expressing random thoughts or communicating with other people. You are issuing direct orders to the infinite intelligence that governs all manifestation, writing cosmic checks that must be honored by the very forces that maintain the stars in their courses. Consider the profound implications of this truth in your daily experience. Every time you declare, "I cannot afford this," you are actively commanding the universe to maintain conditions of scarcity in your life. When you proclaim money is always hard to come by, you are instructing the cosmic forces to make your supply difficult and elusive. These are not passive observations about current circumstances. They are active, creative commands that set invisible wheels in motion, attracting experiences that perfectly match the vibrational frequency of your words. Your words create magnetic fields in the invisible substance that surrounds and interpenetrates all matter. When you speak words of lack and limitation, you generate magnetic patterns that draw more experiences of scarcity toward you with mathematical precision. But when you speak words that acknowledge your connection to infinite supply, you create entirely different magnetic patterns that attract abundance, opportunity, and financial increase with irresistible force. The power inherent in sacred word combinations operates independently of your current bank balance, employment status, educational background, or any external circumstance the material world might consider relevant to your financial condition. This is because true wealth flows from a source that exists beyond the realm of physical limitation, an inexhaustible fountain of divine substance that responds instantly to the vibrational command of your spoken word. Within this divine science of creative speech, specific mantras function as specialized keys, precisely calibrated instruments designed to unlock particular doors within the vast storehouse of infinite supply. A mantra is not merely any collection of words. It is a sacred utterance that carries a powerful vibratory signature, proven through ages of practice to align consciousness with specific frequencies of manifestation. When you repeat a wealth mantra with genuine understanding and unwavering faith, you are not simply reciting phrases. You are tuning your inner receiver to the station of prosperity, bypassing the analytical mind's doubts and fears to implant new operating instructions directly into your subconscious. The moment you declare with conviction, "My supply comes from God," and now appears in perfect ways, something miraculous occurs in the invisible realm. You are not expressing a hopeful wish or reciting empty affirmations. You are issuing a direct command to the storehouse of infinite abundance, instructing it to open its doors and release your rightful portion through the most harmonious channels available. This is not a process requiring weeks or months to produce results. The creative power of spoken word operates in the eternal now, the only moment in which true creation can occur. This storehouse of infinite supply is not a distant location subject to economic fluctuations or market trends. It is the omnipresent, inexhaustible source of all good, the boundless reservoir of divine substance from which everything in creation originates. It exists within you and around you as an ever-present reality, perpetually overflowing with every conceivable blessing. This supply is not something you must earn through struggle or manipulation. It is your divine inheritance, freely given and eternally available. The only barrier between you and its lavish outpouring is lack of recognition, failure to claim it through the authority of your spoken word, backed by unwavering faith. The universe is inherently generous, designed for your perfect prosperity. It withholds nothing from you. On the contrary, it perpetually offers, perpetually awaits your acknowledgement. Your recognition, expressed through conviction-charged speech, is the switch that activates the flow. When you declare with absolute faith, "My supply is unlimited," or "I am a perfect magnet for money," you are not inventing truth. You are recognizing eternal truth that has always existed, making the invisible visible and bringing infinite potential into practical manifestation. Consider the remarkable case of a woman who faced eviction with only 3 days' notice and seemingly no resources. Instead of rehearsing her predicament, she chose to speak a different truth. "Every hour," she declared with growing conviction, "my perfect home is provided now, under grace, in perfect ways." She refused to discuss her situation with others, speaking only words of gratitude for her beautiful, permanent home. On the second day, a distant relative she hadn't heard from in years called with an unexpected offer of a lovely apartment at exactly half her previous rent. "Coincidence?" said the skeptical. "Obedience of law," said she who understood the creative power of her word. Another individual had spoken himself into business failure through constant declarations of tough market, no one's buying, and everything's a struggle. His ledger perfectly reflected his speech. Recognizing the connection, he committed to 30 days of revised conversation. Every time complaint arose, he replaced it with, "I am divinely guided to eager buyers who appreciate my service." The right opportunities open now. Within 2 weeks, dormant prospects awakened, referrals multiplied, and the impossible market became a flowing river of prosperity for him alone, because he had stepped into a different current with his transformed speech. Your word must be clean and affirmative to produce clean results. Avoid tangled negatives like "I am not broke" or "this won't be difficult." The subconscious mind hears the core concepts of broke and difficult and accepts them as instructions. Frame your decrees in positive images. "I am richly supplied. This unfolds with perfect ease. Abundant resources flow to me now." Keep your declarations short, rhythmic, and memorable, so they sing in your heart and travel far into the realm of manifestation. The vibrational quality of your speech creates immediate changes in the invisible substance that governs all material conditions. When you speak as one who knows rather than one who hopes, your words carry the full authority of divine law. Speak your prosperity mantras with the same certainty you would use to declare that fire is hot or water is wet, not as desperate pleas, but as recognition of spiritual facts that are establishing themselves in your experience right now. Guard your conversation carefully throughout each day, for no word is truly idle. Casual remarks possess the same creative power as solemn decrees. Replace "I never have enough" with "I am always abundantly supplied." Exchange "that will never happen" for "if this is mine by divine right." The way opens now. Transform "I'm unlucky with money" into "I am a perfect magnet for lavish, dependable supply." Bless everything that represents circulation in your world, your wallet, accounts, bills, and payments. Speak to them as divine substance in visible form. You circulate freely, return multiplied, and bless everyone you touch. When you receive change, whisper, "You return to me increased." When sending payment, declare, "I give in joy and receive." In joy, this returns multiplied under grace. This alignment teaches your environment to echo the prosperity frequency you have chosen to broadcast. Remember that your word is sacred currency. Spend it only on what you wish to own. If you would not purchase an experience, refuse to speak it into existence. The universe accepts your spoken tender and delivers exact change in the form of matching circumstances. Therefore, step into each day as a wise steward of creative power, issuing only the declarations you long to see reflected back to you, multiplied and glowing with divine approval. Through consistent practice of speaking only prosperity truths, you align your consciousness with the frequency of infinite abundance, becoming a clear channel through which the universe can pour its limitless treasures into perfect, practical manifestation in your daily experience. There is, at the very heart of existence, an ocean of abundance so vast, so inexhaustible, that no human calculation could ever measure its breadth or fathom its depth. Imagine for a moment a reservoir of living substance, invisible to the eye, and yet more real than any pile of gold or stack of currency. This infinite source is as constant as the laws that govern the stars. It is the original storehouse from which every coin in your pocket, every opportunity at your door, every inspired idea, and every relationship that brings joy is drawn. Like the air you breathe, it is always available, never diminished by your use, never withheld, never capricious. This divine supply is not a distant deity to be appeased, nor a fickle force to be petitioned by those deemed deserving. It is the very principle of life itself, a creative power woven through the fabric of the universe, waiting indeed, yearning to express itself through you as lavish provision, perfect health, harmonious relationships, and unfolding opportunities. The world, in its confusion, has taught you to look to people, positions, investments, and institutions for your supply. But these are only channels, temporary rivers through which the great ocean flows. The channel may shift, the river may change course, but the ocean remains limitless and ready. To see only the visible channel is to mistake the pipe for the water. Your employer, your clients, your business, your investments. These are splendid instruments, but they are not the source. When you recognize the difference, you are freed from the tyranny of appearances and the fear that comes when channels dry up or shift. If a stream dries, the river finds a broader, deeper bed. If a door closes, another opens, often more magnificent than the last. The water never disappears, only the channel transforms. Thus, when you keep your eyes on source, you are never left stranded on the shore of lack. The moment you truly grasp that all supply is spiritual, that it flows from a realm untouched by markets, opinions, or the shifting winds of circumstance, you step out of the prison of limitation. You no longer see yourself as a beggar, pleading for scraps, but as a rightful heir to an endless estate. Desire itself is not a sign of lack, but the gentle knock of infinite intelligence at the door of your consciousness, inviting you to recognize and claim what is already prepared for you. The blueprint of your prosperity comes stamped paid in full, and all that is required is your recognition and acceptance. This recognition is not a matter of frantic pleading or anxious effort. The divine source responds not to struggle or bargaining, but to clear, grateful acceptance. When you declare, "My supply comes from God and now appears in perfect ways," you are not offering a wish to the wind, but issuing a command to the invisible substance that shapes all material form. You are turning the switch, opening the gate, allowing the infinite river to flow through whatever channel is most harmonious and timely. The law is unfailing. There is a devotee supply for every righteous demand. This is not a meager trickle doled out by a reluctant universe, but a full, immediate answer to every true desire. The only variable is your recognition. When you fixate on the channel, on a particular job, client, or avenue, you limit yourself to the dimensions of that channel. When you praise the source, you invite supply to find you by 1,000 new and unexpected avenues, under grace, in perfect ways. To illustrate, Imagine one who, believing their employer was the sole source of their good, lived in dread of losing their job. When the position ended, fear screamed that the very water of life had run dry. But by turning their attention from the channel to the source, affirming, "My supply is divine and cannot be lost," new opportunities arose better suited, more abundant, and more joyful within days. The supply had not vanished. It had simply sought a new channel. You become a magnet for abundance when you release the pressure from people and circumstances. Your supply does not come from any person, place, or thing, but through them. When you stop striving to extract good from others and instead receive it from source, you create an atmosphere of ease and receptivity. Pressure on people breeds resistance. Praise to the source produces free circulation. It is not for you to dictate the method or outline the path. State the quality of what is yours, by divine right lavish, dependable, harmonious, and let the infinite dress it in the perfect form. Gratitude is the open gate. When you bless the prosperity you see in others, you affirm the universe's generosity and confirm your own forthcoming good. Envy and resentment close the door, proclaiming, "Their gain is my loss," but gratitude opens wide the gates, declaring, "Their good proves the law is working, and my turn is certain." Each act of gratitude is a magnet, each blessing a beacon inviting more supply. Say to yourself, "What is mine by divine right is now released to me, and what is theirs blesses us both." Divine supply is intelligent and personal. It knows your name and your need before you ask. It recognizes perfect timing and selects the royal road. You need not strive, but you must be receptive. Receptivity is cultivated through quiet confidence, grateful expectation, and the habit of speaking only from the standpoint of the source. Replace "I must make this happen" with "the way opens of itself, and I walk through it." Exchange "I hope it works out for." It is now established in divine mind and appears in perfect ways. Money is but one symbol of supply, not the supply itself. True supply reaches you as inspired ideas, introductions to new people, protected steps, perfect timing, energy, health, favor, and yes, and money often in floods once you have honored the other forms. An idea received in the quiet of morning may be a check in seed form. A helpful stranger may be the courier of a change that multiplies your income. A sudden urge to tidy your affairs, to write a note, to venture out may be the angel of prosperity in work clothes. When you treat every form of good as sacred delivery from the infinite, you become a reliable steward, and more is entrusted to you. Do not confuse temporary congestion with lack. A river narrowing is not a river ending. When appearances seem tight, refuse to worship them. Affirm calmly, "There is no congestion in divine mind. The current of my supply is swift and clear. My good rushes to meet me now." Then act as one who expects delivery. Clear a space, prepare the account, compose the message, put your house in order. The infinite delights to fill a vessel of readiness. There is also a law of right possession. What is yours by divine right cannot be withheld, and what is not yours cannot be held by force. If a door closes, say, "Only the perfect belongs to me." Better doors open now. What you once mourned as loss may, in time, reveal itself as the gentle removal of the insufficient to make way for the magnificent. You cannot cling to a thimble and receive a fountain. Your hands must be free. Fear around finances is a great hypnotist, creating the illusion that supply is outside you, doled out by the world. But the world merely mirrors your inner decree. Cast the burden of fear onto the infinite within you. Speak, "I cast the burden of money worry on the divine power in me, and I go free to receive my immediate, lavish supply." In the calm that follows, listen for instruction. The source speaks in simple guidance that brings swift results. Make a daily practice of acknowledgement. Upon waking, turn your thought immediately to the source. "I look to God for all my supply, and I expect lavish, immediate results today, under grace, in perfect ways. At the slightest twitch of worry, return at once. God is my unfailing source. I am abundantly provided for now. Before sleep, review the proofs of late provision, a discount here, a kindness there, an insight, an open door, and give thanks. Gratitude is the magnet that doubles tomorrow's delivery. Refuse to outline the avenues through which your good may arrive. The infinite has 1,000 ways when you can see not even one. The mind that insists on a single path is a closed gate. The heart that says, "Surprise me with your perfect method," is a wide meadow. Do not outline, but do specify the essence: freedom, sufficiency, elegance, harmony, joy. The forms will dress themselves accordingly and arrive on time, in ways that bless you and all concerned, for the source never enriches one by impoverishing another, but raises the whole river by increasing the flow everywhere at once. Faith stands as the supreme bridge between the invisible realm of infinite possibility and the visible world of tangible experience, operating not as a gentle hope or wishful thinking, but as the most potent creative force in the universe. When you truly comprehend the nature of faith, you discover that it functions with the precision of mathematical law and the immediacy of lightning, collapsing the apparent distance between desire and demonstration, between the words spoken and the thing accomplished. The ancient money mantra achieves such startling speed precisely because authentic faith bypasses the labyrinthine corridors of doubt, fear, and analytical reasoning that typically delay manifestation. When you speak sacred words with genuine faith, not mere belief, but that deep, unshakable knowing that emerges from recognition of spiritual law, you are not pleading with the universe or hoping for eventual results. You are activating an immediate response from the intelligent substance that underlies all creation, commanding it to rearrange itself according to your decree with the authority of one who knows their divine inheritance. Faith operates as recognition of spiritual fact rather than petition for future possibility. Consider the profound difference between these two approaches. Hope looks toward a future possibility and says, "Perhaps this will happen someday," while faith looks at present spiritual reality and declares, "This is accomplished now in the invisible realm and must appear in perfect form." Hope remains tentative, qualified, and often tinged with doubt, but faith carries absolute certainty, immediacy, and the full authority of divine law. This distinction transforms your entire relationship with manifestation. When you hope for prosperity, you are unconsciously acknowledging its absence and positioning yourself as a supplicant, waiting for external approval. When you have faith in your supply, you are recognizing its eternal presence in the storehouse of infinite substance and commanding its visible appearance through the authority vested in you as a divine being. The universe responds to faith with mathematical precision, because faith represents recognition of law, not violation of it. Just as water freezes at exactly 32 degrees, according to immutable physical principles, faith operates exclusively in the eternal now, the only moment in which true creation can occur. The past exists only in memory, the future only in imagination, but the present moment serves as the point of power where infinite possibility meets practical manifestation. When you declare your prosperity in the present tense with unwavering faith, you are not describing future hopes, but acknowledging current spiritual facts that are establishing themselves in your experience right now. Consider the profound implications of this truth. In divine mind, there is no time, no delay, no process of gradual development. The infinite knows neither yesterday nor tomorrow, only the eternal present where all things exist in perfect completion. Your supply does not need to be created, it already exists in spiritual substance, complete and perfect, waiting only for your faith to give it permission to appear in your temporal experience. This is not metaphysical theory, but practical reality that can be tested and proven through consistent application. The moment you declare with true faith, My supply comes from God, and now appears in perfect ways. Something extraordinary occurs in the dimension of causation that precedes all visible effects. Your words, charged with the power of absolute conviction, penetrate the responsive substance of the universe like a key turning in a lock. The invisible machinery of manifestation begins operating immediately, not gradually, arranging circumstances, inspiring people, opening channels, and orchestrating the perfect sequence of events that will deliver your demonstrated good. Think of faith as the spiritual equivalent of flipping an electrical switch. You do not need to understand the complex mechanics of how electricity flows through wires. To illuminate a room, you simply activate the switch with confidence that the light will appear. Faith operates according to the same principle of immediate cause and effect. The moment your conviction becomes absolute, manifestation leaps to meet you like electricity flowing through a completed circuit. This instantaneous quality reflects the nature of spiritual law itself. Just as a seed planted in fertile soil immediately begins the process of growth, though the sprout remains invisible for a time, your word spoken with faith instantly initiates the manifestation process in the invisible realm. The life force begins working immediately, drawing resources, arranging circumstances, and preparing for outward expression. Your task becomes tending that seed with continued faith, watering it with affirmations and protecting it from the weeds of doubt. The universe responds to the vibrational frequency of your faith with perfect precision. When you emit the vibration of absolute certainty in your financial well-being, cosmic forces cannot help but arrange circumstances, people, and opportunities to match that frequency instantly. The instant refers to the immediate initiation of the process in the invisible realm, while physical appearance follows as quickly as your consciousness can sustain unwavering faith. The key to instant manifestation lies in releasing the how and trusting the what. The human mind, with its finite understanding, perpetually demands to know the steps, the process, the logical progression from current circumstances to desired outcome. But divine mind operates beyond logic, beyond linear time and space, possessing 1,000 ways where you can perceive not even one. When you release attachment to specific methods and simply declare your truth with faith, you open yourself to miraculous channels and perfect synchronicity that only infinite intelligence can orchestrate. Faith does not outline. It specifies essence and allows divine wisdom to choose the perfect form. Essence sounds like this: I accept lavish, dependable income now, under grace, in perfect ways. The mind that insists on predetermined avenues becomes like a closed gate, while the heart that declares, I accept the best and highest form, swings wide to roads you could never have planned. This surrender to divine methodology accelerates manifestation by removing the limitations imposed by human reasoning. Doubt operates not as the opposite of faith, but as its absence, similar to how darkness represents the absence of light, rather than a competing force. When you fill your consciousness with the illumination of knowing, doubt cannot exist in the same space, just as darkness dissolves the moment you activate a lamp. The ancient mantra works with such power because it fills your awareness with brilliant recognition of truth, leaving no room for doubt to establish residence. The quality of your faith can be measured by your emotional response to speaking your declarations. If the mantra brings peace, joy, and quiet confidence, your faith flows pure and strong. If it produces anxiety, strain, or desperate hope, you remain operating from the level of petition rather than recognition. Return to the fundamental understanding that your good already exists, that your supply is already provided, that your prosperity is already established in divine mind and is now appearing in perfect form. When appearances seem to contradict your decree, faith speaks only the language of source. The bank balance may whisper, not enough. The calendar may shout, too late. But faith replies with unwavering certainty. There is no late nor lack in divine mind. What is mine appears now. You do not argue with appearances, you outdeclare them by refusing to lend your voice to their temporary story. Consider the woman who required a substantial sum by Friday to avert a financial crisis. On Wednesday, she set aside her frantic efforts to figure it out and entered the quiet space of faith. Every hour, she affirmed with growing conviction, "Infinite Spirit, my immediate supply appears now, under grace, in perfect ways." Each time fear arose, she cast the burden by declaring, "I release all money, worry to the divine power within me, and go free to receive my lavish supply." Most remarkably, she began giving thanks for the money as though it had already arrived, saying aloud, "Thank you, Father, for this sum, which I now have." She prepared a mental space for its arrival and acted from the consciousness of already possessing what she needed. On Friday morning, an old account long regarded as uncollectible was paid in full with an apology for the delay. Her faith, once activated with purity, brought immediate response through a channel she had completely forgotten existed. Another individual discovered the power of emergency decrees when facing urgent financial pressure. Instead of rehearsing the crisis, she spoke with authority, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let every supposed obstacle be removed. I give thanks that it is now done, under grace and in perfect ways." Within hours, an unexpected opportunity presented itself that not only resolved the immediate need, but established ongoing prosperity. The universe had responded to her command by revealing resources that were always available but previously unrecognized. Faith grows stronger through consistent exercise, just as physical muscles develop through regular training. Begin with demonstrations that feel believable to your current level of consciousness, then gradually expand your faith as you witness spiritual law working in your experience. If instant manifestation of large sums seems impossible to your present understanding, start by demonstrating parking spaces, green lights, or small amounts of money. As your faith muscles strengthen through successful practice, larger demonstrations become as natural and effortless as the smaller ones. Establish a daily rhythm that sustains certainty. Upon waking, immediately turn your thought to source. I look to the infinite for my supply, and I receive lavish, immediate results today, under grace, in perfect ways. Before important meetings and calls, affirm, right ideas, right timing, right connections now. At the first prick of worry, immediately counter, I cast this burden on divine power and go free. My good appears now. Before sleep, review the proofs of provision and declare, I give thanks for today's demonstrations and expect even greater proofs tomorrow. Faith creates an atmosphere that affects everyone around you and attracts corresponding conditions. When you speak prosperity mantras with genuine conviction, others unconsciously sense the authority in your words and align themselves with your expectation. Opportunities that seemed closed suddenly open, people become helpful without being asked, and circumstances rearrange themselves in your favor. This occurs not through manipulation, but through natural law. Faith generates a magnetic field that draws experiences matching its vibrational frequency. Guard your conversation carefully, for faith thrives in an atmosphere of gratitude and withers under complaint and criticism. Refuse to trade stories of lack or rehearse financial difficulties. If someone voices fear, silently bless them and inwardly affirm, there is enough for us all. Your atmosphere becomes beneficent weather that others enjoy and to which opportunities are naturally drawn. Faith recognizes money as crystallized divine substance, responsive to blessing and direction. When small amounts arrive, receive them as heralds of greater demonstrations. You are good and obedient substance. You go forth with love and return multiplied, under grace. When sending money, let it carry your blessing. You bless all you touch, and return to me increased in perfect ways. Faith understands that circulation multiplies supply to hoard from fear crimps the flow, while circulating from faith increases pressure through every channel of your life. Each act of financial gratitude becomes a magnet, drawing larger demonstrations. Acknowledge every form of supply discounts, gifts, forgiven fees, surprise credits as proof that spiritual law operates in your experience. Faith does not trivialize small proofs but recognizes them as the first drops announcing a shower, blessing them and declaring, "More of this." When expected channels pause or shift, faith does not panic but praises the perfect new avenue now opening. What appears as loss often reveals itself as replacement of the insufficient with the abundantly sufficient. Faith trusts the promotion even before it manifests, understanding that divine intelligence perpetually arranges upgrades for those who maintain unwavering recognition of their unlimited supply. Remember that there is no emergency in divine mind. What you perceive as urgent need is simply your good-seeking swift entry through the most harmonious channel available. Your decree of faith opens the door, allowing infinite resources to flow through whatever pathway serves the highest good of all concerned. Faith operates beyond the limitations of human timing, delivering demonstrations according to divine order that always proves perfect in retrospect. Within the grand architecture of prosperity, consciousness lies a profound truth that transforms financial struggle into effortless abundance. The divine law of non-resistance, coupled with grateful circulation. These are not separate principles but complementary forces that work together like the systolic and diastolic rhythms of a healthy heart, creating the perfect circulation that maintains vibrant life. When you master these twin aspects of prosperity, you discover that wealth flows to you and through you with the same natural ease that rivers flow to the sea, requiring no force, no struggle, no anxious manipulation, only intelligent cooperation with the divine current that seeks to bless you lavishly. The profound nature of spiritual non-resistance. Non-resistance represents far more than passive acceptance of unwanted circumstances. It embodies the elegant art of aligning with higher law while refusing to wrestle with appearances on their own level. Consider the wisdom embedded in nature's own demonstrations. The reed that bends gracefully in the storm survives, while the rigid oak that resists may snap under pressure. Water, the most yielding of substances, ultimately carves through the hardest granite, not through force, but through persistent, gentle flow. These natural examples reveal the supreme power that lies in working with divine law rather than against it. When you resist financial conditions through worry, complaint, or fearful struggle, you create what might be called spiritual dams in your consciousness. The natural flow of abundance backs up behind these barriers of resistance, creating stagnation where there should be swift current. Every moment spent fighting your circumstances, arguing with bills, or lamenting your financial condition adds another stone to the dam that blocks your good. But the moment you release resistance and align with the flow of divine order, these barriers dissolve and the river of your supply leaps again to life. True non-resistance requires understanding that you are not fighting circumstances, but transcending them through recognition of higher truth. When a bill arrives that seems overwhelming, you do not deny its physical presence or pretend it does not exist. Instead, you refuse to give it power over your consciousness by immediately declaring, "This bill is paid in full through divine channels, under grace, in perfect ways." You are not arguing with the paper in your hand. You are appealing to the spiritual law that governs all supply, knowing that what appears as obstacle is simply divine substance seeking reorganization into harmonious form. Money as living energy, requiring circulation. To understand grateful circulation, you must first recognize money's true nature as crystallized divine energy rather than static material commodity. Like electricity flowing through a wire, money maintains its vitality and magnetic power only when in motion. The moment you attempt to hoard it through fear or spend it with resentment, you interrupt the very current that brings it to you in the first place. Money that circulates with blessing multiplies. Money that stagnates through fear diminishes, regardless of the amount you possess. Consider the profound wisdom revealed in your body's own circulation systems. Your heart pumps blood freely throughout your entire system, never hoarding it in one location for fear there might not be enough for other organs. The blood that flows out returns enriched with oxygen and nutrients, maintaining the health and vitality of the whole. Similarly, when you allow money to flow through your experience with grateful blessing, it returns to you enriched and multiplied, carrying with it new opportunities, connections, and channels of supply. The universe operates according to the fundamental principle of giving and receiving, an eternal rhythm that maintains perfect balance and continuous expansion. What you release with love and gratitude creates a vacuum that must be filled according to spiritual law. What you bless as it flows through your hands becomes a magnet that attracts experiences matching its blessed vibration. This is not wishful thinking, but observable law that operates with mathematical precision in the lives of those who understand and apply it consistently. Dissolving the barriers of financial fear. The greatest obstacle to both non-resistance and circulation lies in the deep-seated fear that there might not be enough, that giving will somehow leave you diminished or vulnerable. This fear creates a consciousness of scarcity that manifests as tight-fisted control, anxious hoarding, and reluctant spending even on necessary items. Every act motivated by this fear reinforces the very limitation it seeks to avoid, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of restriction and lack. To break this cycle, you must cast the burden of financial fear onto the divine power within you, declaring with authority, "I release all worry about money and security to the infinite intelligence that governs my supply. I go free to give and receive according to spiritual law, trusting that my source is inexhaustible and my circulation is blessed." Feel the weight of financial anxiety lift from your consciousness as you recognize that your security rests not in accumulation, but in your conscious connection to infinite supply. Begin building confidence in circulation through small, faith-stretching acts that prove the law to your own experience. Give a generous tip when service has been excellent. Donate items you no longer use to those who can benefit from them. Surprise someone with an unexpected gift. Each act of conscious giving strengthens your faith in the principle of circulation and expands your capacity to handle greater flows of abundance without fear or resistance. The sacred art of blessing financial flow. One of the most transformative practices in conscious circulation involves blessing money as it moves through your experience, recognizing it as divine substance in temporary form, seeking expression through your stewardship. When you bless currency, you are not performing empty ritual, but actually programming it with loving intention, creating a magnetic field that attracts experiences matching your grateful vibration. Before spending money, hold it briefly if possible and declare silently, "You are blessed substance. You go forth to create good wherever you travel and return to me multiplied, under grace, in perfect ways." This simple practice transforms every transaction into a conscious act of blessing that multiplies the good in your life and in the lives of all who subsequently encounter your money. When receiving money, whether as payment, gifts, or unexpected windfalls, welcome it with genuine gratitude and blessing. Say with feeling, "I receive you with thanksgiving and bless you as divine substance. You multiply in my hands and bring increased good to all concerned." This grateful reception creates a magnetic field that attracts more abundance while honoring the spiritual nature of what flows to you, transforming bills into channels of blessing. Perhaps nowhere does the principle of non-resistance prove more valuable than in your relationship with bills and financial obligations. Most people view bills as enemies attacking their security, creating resistance that blocks the very flow needed to handle them easily. But when you understand bills as evidence that others have trusted you with services and goods, that you are participating in the great circulation of commerce that keeps abundance flowing throughout society, your entire relationship transforms. When bills arrive, immediately bless them and declare, "I give thanks for the service received and release this payment with love." knowing it blesses all concerned and returns to me multiplied. Write across each bill in thought, if not in ink, paid in full under grace, and visualize the payment flowing out like blessed water that must return as a flowing river. This practice shifts your consciousness from resistance to cooperation with divine circulation. Consider the inspiring example of a woman who faced overwhelming debt and felt paralyzed by financial fear. Every bill felt like a personal attack, every payment like a loss she could not afford. But she learned to apply these principles consistently, blessing every bill as it arrived and affirming, "This is paid, and I am grateful for the service received." Despite her limited resources, she also began giving small amounts to charity, blessing the money as it left her hands and declaring her faith in inexhaustible supply. Within weeks, unexpected income began appearing, a forgotten refund, a small inheritance, new clients who seemed drawn to her transformed energy. Her gratitude and non-resistance had opened channels that her fear and resistance had previously blocked completely. The multiplication principle in daily practice. Grateful circulation operates according to the spiritual law of multiplication rather than the material law of subtraction. In the physical realm, when you give away $10, arithmetic suggests you have $10 less. But in the spiritual realm, when you release $10 with genuine gratitude and blessing, you have actually increased your magnetic power to attract abundance by demonstrating faith in the inexhaustible nature of your supply. This principle explains why those who give generously from their substance, even when it appears limited, often experience dramatic increases in their income and opportunities. They have proven themselves trustworthy channels for divine substance, demonstrating through their actions that they understand money's true nature as circulating energy rather than static possession. The universe responds by increasing the flow through channels that have proven themselves willing and able to handle greater circulation. Establish a regular practice of conscious giving that stretches your faith without creating financial strain. This might involve tithing to spiritual work that feeds your soul, contributing to causes that align with your values, or simply surprising others with unexpected generosity. The amount matters less than the consistency and the consciousness behind the giving. Regular circulation demonstrates your faith in continuous supply and keeps your prosperity channels open and flowing freely. Creating daily rhythms of prosperity flow. Transform your daily relationship with money by establishing rhythms that honor both non-resistance and circulation. Begin each morning by blessing all money in your possession, saying, "You are good and obedient substance. You circulate freely and multiply constantly, bringing increased good to all concerned." This practice aligns your consciousness with abundance rather than scarcity from the very start of each day. Throughout your day, practice what might be called micro-blessings with every financial interaction. Bless the change you receive at the store, the payment you send electronically, the coins you find, the bills you pay. Say silently to each, "You are blessed substance in circulation, returning to me multiplied under grace." These small acts accumulate tremendous momentum over time, creating an atmosphere of grateful flow that attracts abundant demonstrations. Before sleep, review your day for every sign of circulation and give thanks for each one. A discount received, a payment made easily, a gift given or received, an idea that could generate income. Acknowledge each as proof that divine circulation operates in your experience and declare your expectation of krasa, even greater flow tomorrow. The alchemy of financial forgiveness. One of the most crucial aspects of non-resistance involves releasing resentment toward past financial experiences, failed investments, unpaid debts owed to you, or situations where you felt taken advantage of financially. These emotional charges create invisible barriers that block current flow, regardless of your other prosperity practices. Forgiveness becomes the solvent that dissolves these barriers and restores free circulation. Declare with genuine intention, "I forgive everyone and everything connected to my financial past." I release all resentment, blame, and sense of injustice. I loose them and let them go. They are free, and I am free. In that release, you untie knots in consciousness that have been crimping your supply lines, often resulting in immediate improvements in your financial flow as stuck energy begins moving again. Living as a conscious channel of divine abundance, the ultimate goal of mastering non-resistance and grateful circulation is to become what might be called a clear channel, a person through whom divine substance flows freely in both directions without obstruction, fear, or manipulation. Clear channels experience constant circulation because they have removed the internal barriers that impede natural flow. They give freely when guided to give, receive gracefully when abundance appears, and trust the intelligence of the universe to maintain perfect balance in their affairs. This state represents true financial freedom, not the accumulation of vast sums through struggle and manipulation, but conscious participation in infinite circulation that ensures continuous supply according to divine law. When you achieve this level of non-resistance, money flows to you and through you as naturally as water flows downhill, always seeking the most harmonious expression and always returning multiplied to those who facilitate its loving circulation. Practice seeing yourself as a steward rather than an owner of the money that flows through your experience. You are a temporary custodian of divine substance, trusted to direct its flow in ways that bless yourself and others. This recognition liberates you from the burden of fear-based control and opens you to the joy of conscious participation in the universe's generous circulation system. Remember that every act of grateful circulation, every moment of financial non-resistance, every blessing you speak over money creates ripples in the invisible substance that governs all material conditions. These ripples return to you as waves of increased supply, unexpected opportunities, and harmonious financial flow that proves beyond doubt the reality of spiritual law operating in practical affairs. Through consistent application of these principles, you transform from one who struggles with money to one through whom abundance flows effortlessly, blessing everyone your prosperity touches while ensuring your own lavish and dependable supply under grace in perfect ways. Within the grand symphony of manifestation, your spoken word serves as the opening note that sets the entire orchestra of the universe in motion, but the full melody of your prosperity requires the harmonious participation of what can only be described as obedient action guided by divine intelligence. This is not the frantic, fear-driven activity of one who believes they must force their good into existence through struggle and manipulation, but rather the graceful, confident movement of one who understands that infinite wisdom delivers its gifts through entirely practical channels that require your conscious cooperation and willing participation. The moment you declare with conviction, "My supply comes from God and now appears in perfect ways," you initiate a sacred partnership between heaven and earth, between the invisible realm of infinite possibility and the visible world of tangible demonstration. Your word has gone forth like a royal decree, commanding the universe to rearrange itself according to your declaration. But this divine rearrangement often requires your physical participation as the final link in the chain of manifestation. The universe speaks to you through what might be called the still, small voice of intuitive guidance, offering specific directions that, when followed with trust and promptness, become the golden pathway upon which your demonstrated prosperity travels from spiritual substance into material form. The sacred nature of inner guidance as divine communication. Divine guidance operates not through dramatic supernatural interventions or mystical phenomena, but through the gentle, persistent whisper of infinite intelligence, speaking directly to your intuitive faculty. This guidance sounds remarkably like your own thoughts, which explains why so many dismiss these precious promptings as mere imagination rather than recognizing them as direct communication from the source of all wisdom. The voice of guidance carries certain unmistakable characteristics that distinguish it from mental chatter. It feels peaceful rather than anxious, simple rather than complicated, and aligned with your highest good rather than driven by ego or fear. True guidance often suggests actions that stretch your comfort zone but feel fundamentally right in your deepest being, while false guidance typically produces internal conflict, confusion, or the sense that you are being pushed into something that violates your integrity. Authentic promptings may arrive as sudden inspirations during quiet moments, persistent thoughts about particular people or places, gentle urges towards certain actions, or quiet inner knowing that suggests specific steps to take. The universe speaks to you in the language you understand best, whether through meaningful coincidences that point toward specific directions, conversations that provide exactly the information you need, or circumstances that open or close doors. With perfect timing, cultivating receptivity through sacred stillness, guidance flows most freely to minds that have learned the art of inner stillness, creating quiet spaces where the voice of wisdom can be heard above the constant chatter of everyday thoughts and concerns. This does not require elaborate spiritual practices or hours of meditation, though these can certainly enhance your receptivity. Often, the most profound guidance comes during simple moments of quiet reflection while walking in nature, before sleep, upon waking, or in those peaceful interludes between activities, when your mind naturally settles into receptive awareness. Establish what might be called guidance moments throughout your day, where you deliberately quiet your thoughts and ask for direction regarding specific situations or decisions. Pose clear questions to the infinite intelligence within you. What is my next right step regarding this financial opportunity? How can I best serve while ensuring my own abundant supply? What channels of prosperity are opening for me now? Then listen without forcing, allowing answers to arise naturally in whatever form they choose to take. Sometimes guidance comes as immediate knowing, sometimes as gradual unfolding over days or weeks, but it always comes when you create space for it and trust its arrival. The key to receiving clear guidance lies in releasing attachment to specific outcomes and remaining open to solutions that may surpass your current imagination. When you insist that your good must appear in predetermined ways, you limit infinite intelligence to the narrow channels of your human understanding. But when you ask for guidance while declaring, "Show me the perfect way," even if it differs from my expectations, you open yourself to miraculous possibilities that only divine wisdom could orchestrate. Recognizing divine direction in everyday experiences, divine guidance rarely arrives as burning bushes or angelic visitations, but rather through the ordinary events and interactions of daily life, requiring spiritual eyes to recognize the sacred within the mundane. That person who comes to mind repeatedly may be someone you are meant to contact for mutual benefit. The article that catches your attention, the overheard conversation that provides exactly the insight you need, the unexpected invitation that arrives at just the right moment. These are often guidance wearing work clothes, appearing so natural that many miss their significance entirely. Pay particular attention to what might be called coincidence clusters, those remarkable sequences where the same theme, person, or opportunity appears repeatedly through different channels within a short period. When 3 different people mention the same business opportunity, when you encounter information about a particular investment strategy from multiple sources, when doors keep opening in one specific direction while closing in others, you are likely receiving clear guidance about the path that serves your highest good. Consider the inspiring example of a woman who felt a persistent urge to attend a networking event she had initially dismissed as irrelevant to her field. Logic argued against spending the evening away from pressing work, but the guidance felt so clear and peaceful that she finally obeyed. At that event, she met someone who became not only a valued client, but also introduced her to opportunities that doubled her income within 6 months. Her obedient action, despite apparent impracticality, had positioned her perfectly to receive her demonstrated good through channels she could never have planned or predicted. The sacred art of immediate obedience, True spiritual partnership requires what might be called the courage of immediate obedience, the willingness to act promptly when guidance comes, even when the logical mind cannot see the complete picture or understand how the suggested action will lead to desired results. This immediate response demonstrates faith in the wisdom of infinite intelligence and keeps you in harmonious flow with divine timing, which operates according to principles far more sophisticated than human planning can comprehend. The universe does not often reveal the entire blueprint at once. It gives you the next step, trusting that you will take it with faith and allowing the subsequent step to be revealed in due course. This progressive revelation keeps you dependent upon divine wisdom rather than human planning, ensuring that your path remains flexible enough to accommodate the perfect timing and methods that only infinite intelligence can orchestrate. To delay, to say, "I'll do it tomorrow," is to allow doubt and the analytical mind to interfere with the flow of divine guidance, dimming the light of inspiration with the shadows of fear and procrastination. When guidance suggests actions that feel uncomfortable or uncertain, remind yourself that your current methods have produced your current results, and if you desire different results, you must be willing to try different approaches. The very fact that certain actions feel challenging may indicate that they are designed to expand your capacity, strengthen your faith, or position you for opportunities that require growth beyond your present limitations. Distinguishing inspired action from anxious effort. Learning to distinguish between inspired action that flows from divine guidance and anxious effort that stems from fear requires developing sensitivity to the different qualities of energy behind your activities. Inspired action feels effortless even when it requires significant effort, flows with a sense of perfect timing, and produces results that exceed your expectations. There is a quiet certainty, a feeling of being carried by a larger force because you are cooperating with the divine current rather than trying to swim against it. Anxious effort, by contrast, feels forced and strained, creates internal tension and exhaustion, and typically produces limited results despite considerable energy expenditure. When you act from fear or impatience, you encounter resistance, complications, and the sense that you are swimming against a strong current. This does not mean that guided action never requires persistence or encounters temporary obstacles, but the overall quality of the experience feels supported by invisible forces rather than opposed by them. When you are acting on intuitive guidance, doors open smoothly, people respond favorably, and circumstances align to support your efforts in ways that feel almost magical. You become aware of what might be called divine synchronicity, the perfect timing of events, the helpful stranger who appears exactly when needed, the information that arrives at precisely the right moment. These are not coincidences, but evidence that you are moving in harmony with spiritual law. Preparing the way through faith-filled action guidance often directs you to prepare in advance of visible need, demonstrating faith through practical actions that create space for your good to appear. If you have declared abundant income, you might be prompted to open a new bank account, organize your financial records, or clear a space in your home office for expanded business activities. If you have declared your perfect home, guidance might suggest decluttering your current living space, researching neighborhoods, or updating your credit report. These seemingly small, practical steps are powerful acts of faith that send clear signals to the universe that you are not only expecting your good but also ready to receive it. Such actions demonstrate deep understanding of instant manifestation. Through faith, you are acting as if the thing is already accomplished, which it is in the invisible realm, preparing the physical channels through which spiritual substance can flow into tangible form. Consider the remarkable case of a man who declared freedom from debt with surplus for all his needs. The next day, he felt an inexplicable urge to clean his attic, a task he had procrastinated on for months. Tucked away in an old box, he found a forgotten stock certificate that, when sold, covered his entire debt and left him with substantial surplus. His obedience to the seemingly unrelated guidance had led directly to the manifestation of his declared word, proving that infinite intelligence knows exactly where your good awaits your discovery. Overcoming resistance through trust in divine wisdom. The human mind often resists following guidance, particularly when suggested actions seem illogical, inconvenient, or outside established comfort zones. This resistance typically stems from the ego's preference for control and its inability to perceive the larger patterns that divine intelligence weaves through apparently unconnected events. Overcoming this resistance requires developing trust in the wisdom of infinite intelligence and faith in its benevolent intentions toward your highest good. Procrastination often serves as the devil of delay in the path of manifestation. When an inner prompting arrives, it frequently carries a sense of urgency, a feeling of, now is the perfect moment. The freshness of the intuitive impulse carries maximum power. Its effectiveness is strongest in the moment it arrives. To postpone action allows the analytical mind to introduce complexities, fears, and reasons why it won't work, thereby diminishing the light of inspiration with the shadows of doubt. Practice taking small guided actions to build confidence in the process before attempting larger leaps of faith. If you feel prompted to contact someone, make the call. If inner wisdom suggests taking a different route, follow the guidance. If you sense you should attend a particular event, make arrangements to be there. These small acts of obedience strengthen your spiritual muscles and demonstrate to both your conscious mind and the universe that you are a reliable partner in the manifestation process. Creating systems for consistent divine partnership. Develop systematic approaches to recognizing and following guidance that integrate seamlessly with your daily routine and professional responsibilities. Begin each day by asking for guidance about priorities, opportunities, and actions that serve your highest good, then remain alert throughout the day for the subtle promptings that provide answers to your requests. Keep a guidance journal to record insights, ideas, and promptings as they arise, treating them as valuable communications worthy of careful attention and follow-through. End each day by reviewing the guidance you received and the actions you took, noting correlations between following promptings and positive results in your experience. This practice develops what might be called guidance literacy, the ability to read the subtle communications of infinite intelligence with increasing accuracy and confidence. Over time, you will recognize guidance patterns and develop faith in your capacity to distinguish authentic direction from mental noise. Your body often confirms authentic guidance through physical sensations. You may notice a softening in your breath, a release across your forehead, or warmth in your heart when a step feels right. Conversely, you might feel tension in your solar plexus, heaviness behind your eyes, or tightening in your jaw when a course contradicts divine timing. While these sensations should not become superstitions, they can assist your discernment when learning to recognize the voice of wisdom. The sacred circulation of guided giving and receiving guidance frequently directs you toward acts of circulation that demonstrate faith in your inexhaustible supply while creating channels for increased flow. This might involve giving generously when service has been excellent, contributing to causes that align with your values, or surprising others with unexpected kindness. The universe recognizes these acts as evidence that you understand money's true nature as circulating divine substance rather than static possession to be hoarded through fear. When guidance suggests giving, do so with blessing and gratitude, declaring, "This seed goes forth to multiply and returns to me increased under grace in perfect ways." When receiving money through guided channels, welcome it with thanksgiving. I receive you as divine substance and bless you to circulate freely, bringing good to all concerned. This conscious blessing creates magnetic fields that attract experiences matching your grateful vibration. Sometimes, guidance directs you toward forgiveness and release as prerequisites for increased flow. You may feel prompted to write letters of reconciliation, return items that are not rightfully yours, or cancel grievances that have been constricting your prosperity channels. Perform these actions as sacred rites, understanding that each act of forgiveness removes barriers to your natural abundance and restores free circulation in your experience. Living as conscious co-creator with infinite intelligence, the ultimate expression of obedient action and intuitive guidance, transforms you into what might be called a conscious co-creator, one who works in seamless partnership with divine intelligence to manifest prosperity that serves both personal needs and universal good. This partnership requires surrendering the illusion of complete control while accepting full responsibility for cooperating intelligently with the guidance you receive. As you develop proficiency in this sacred partnership, your life begins flowing with an ease and synchronicity that amazes both yourself and others. Opportunities appear at exactly the right moments, connections form naturally, and resources flow through channels that seem to open effortlessly. This is not luck or coincidence, but the natural result of aligning human action with divine wisdom, creating harmonious flow that benefits everyone involved while ensuring your own abundant supply. Practice viewing yourself as an agent of infinite intelligence, trusted with specific assignments that serve the greater good while providing for your personal prosperity. This perspective transforms work from drudgery into service, challenges into opportunities for growth, and setbacks into redirections toward better paths. When you understand that divine intelligence works through you as well as for you, every guided action becomes a sacred act of co-creation that blesses the world while demonstrating your faith in the inexhaustible nature of your supply. Remember that guidance delights in order and preparation. Clean your wallet, organize your files, update your skills, and maintain your tools with the same reverence you would show sacred instruments. These acts of stewardship signal your readiness for greater trust and expanded demonstrations. When the vessel is prepared, the proofed wine is poured. When the channel is clear, the current flows freely, carrying you effortlessly toward the full manifestation of your declared prosperity under grace, in perfect ways, as you cooperate joyfully with the divine intelligence that seeks to bless you lavishly through every guided step you take. There exists within the fabric of divine law a magnificent principle that serves as both shield and pathway, both protection and perfection, the sacred qualification, under grace and in perfect ways. When you append these words to your prosperity declarations, you are not merely adding poetic flourish to your affirmations. You are invoking the highest law of harmonious manifestation, calling forth the invisible hand of divine intelligence to arrange your good in ways that bless everyone involved while protecting you from the hidden complications that often accompany forced or manipulated outcomes. Grace operates as the supreme orchestrator of perfect timing, the divine arranger that ensures your wealth appears through channels so harmonious and beneficial that even skeptics must acknowledge the elegance of the unfolding. When you declare, "My supply comes from God and now appears under grace in perfect ways," you are essentially placing a protective seal upon your demonstration, preventing your ego's limited understanding from outlining methods that might bring temporary gain at the cost of lasting peace, health, or integrity. The protective power of grace in financial manifestation. To understand grace in its fullest expression, consider it as the antidote to force in all its forms. The human tendency, particularly when financial pressure mounts, is to push, manipulate, and scheme to treat prosperity as a fortress that must be stormed rather than a gift that flows naturally when conditions align. But force creates friction, resistance, and often hidden costs that appear later as stress, broken relationships, or ethical compromises that taint the very success you sought to achieve. Grace, by contrast, operates through what might be called divine synchronicity, where doors open at precisely the right moment, where the perfect person calls with the ideal opportunity, where circumstances align so beautifully that the outcome feels inevitable rather than forced. Under grace, your prosperity unfolds with an ease that amazes you and others, creating a sense of rightness and flow that validates the spiritual nature of true abundance. Consider the profound difference between these approaches. The person who manipulates others to secure a business deal versus the one who serves genuinely and attracts clients who appreciate their integrity. The first may achieve temporary financial gain, but often at the cost of reputation, inner peace, and sustainable relationships. The second builds lasting prosperity on a foundation of mutual benefit and authentic value, creating wealth that multiplies naturally because it serves the highest good of all involved. Perfect ways, as divine intelligence in action. The qualification in perfect ways invites infinite intelligence to select the methods, timing, and channels through which your good appears, recognizing that divine wisdom perceives patterns and possibilities far beyond human comprehension. When you insist that your prosperity must arrive through specific, predetermined channels, you limit infinite creativity to the narrow corridors of your current understanding, often blocking superior solutions that could deliver greater abundance through more harmonious means. Perfect ways ensures that your financial increase serves not only your immediate needs, but also contributes to the greater circulation of good in ways you might never have imagined. The business opportunity that appears under grace often provides employment for others. The investment that prospers in perfect ways frequently supports ventures that benefit communities, and the income that flows through divine channels typically comes with opportunities for meaningful service that enriches your life beyond mere monetary compensation. This principle also governs timing with exquisite precision, delivering your good at the moment when you can receive it most beneficially and handle it most wisely. Many have discovered that apparent delays in manifestation were actually divine protection, preventing them from receiving abundance before they had developed the consciousness to maintain and multiply it effectively. Perfect timing ensures that your increase arrives when your vessel is prepared to hold it, your wisdom is ready to direct it, and your circumstances can accommodate it without disruption or overwhelm. The sacred art of mental picturing under grace. Within this framework of grace and perfect ways lies another powerful tool of manifestation: the deliberate cultivation of mental pictures that align with your highest good while remaining open to divine improvement upon your vision. This goes far beyond mere wishful thinking or desperate visualization. It involves creating clear, detailed inner images of your desired prosperity while simultaneously surrendering attachment to specific forms, allowing grace to upgrade your mental pictures into demonstrations that exceed your original imagination. The key to effective mental picturing under grace lies in focusing on the essence of what you desire rather than rigid adherence to particular forms. Instead of demanding a specific job at a predetermined salary, you might picture yourself engaged in fulfilling work that utilizes your talents, provides abundant compensation, and contributes meaningfully to others' lives. This approach gives infinite intelligence room to deliver opportunities that match or exceed your vision, while ensuring that the outcome serves your highest development and greatest joy. When creating these mental pictures, engage all your senses to make the visualization as vivid and real as possible, but always conclude with the KDS, sacred qualification, this or something better, under grace, in perfect ways. This phrase transforms visualization from demanding into receiving, from outlining into allowing, from forcing into flowing. You are not commanding the universe to deliver exactly what you envision. You are showing divine intelligence the quality of experience you desire and trusting it to select the perfect form. Expectant vision as living faith. The cultivation of expectant vision represents faith in its most practical and powerful expression, the deep, quiet knowing that your good is already established in the invisible realm and must appear in perfect form and timing. This expectancy differs dramatically from anxious hoping or desperate wishing. It carries the calm certainty of one who has placed an order with a reliable supplier and simply awaits delivery, knowing that the process is already in motion. Expectant vision maintains itself through consistent mental discipline, refusing to be shaken by temporary appearances or external circumstances that seem to contradict your inner knowing. When bills arrive, expectant vision sees them as temporary conditions that divine intelligence is already rearranging. When opportunities seem scarce, expectant vision recognizes this as the quiet before the breakthrough, the pause before the perfect door swings open. This quality of expectancy creates what might be called a magnetic field in consciousness that draws experiences matching its vibrational frequency. When you truly expect your good under grace, you unconsciously align your thoughts, words, and actions with that expectation, becoming a clear channel through which grace can work its perfect demonstrations. Your very atmosphere changes, affecting how others respond to you and creating space for opportunities that might not have appeared to someone broadcasting doubt or desperation. Daily practice of grace-filled prosperity. To integrate these principles into practical daily experience. Begin each morning by placing your entire financial life under grace, declaring with quiet authority, "All my affairs are now under grace and unfold in perfect ways." Divine intelligence guides every decision, opens every door, and arranges every detail for my highest good and the blessing of all concerned. Feel the relief that comes from releasing the burden of trying to control outcomes through human effort alone. Throughout your day, whenever financial concerns arise or decisions present themselves, immediately invoke grace by affirming, "This situation is now under grace and resolves in perfect ways." Then listen for the quiet inner guidance that often follows such surrender, remaining alert for the intuitive promptings that indicate your next right action. Grace works through you, as well as for you, requiring your cooperation with the guidance you receive. When making financial decisions, large or small, pause to ask, what would grace do here? What choice serves the tua gestans, highest good of all involved? This simple practice aligns your decision-making with divine wisdom, often revealing options you hadn't previously considered and preventing choices that might bring temporary advantage at the cost of lasting harmony. Blessing money and transactions under grace. Transform every financial interaction into a sacred exchange by blessing money as it flows through your experience, recognizing it as divine substance temporarily in your stewardship. When receiving money, welcome it with gratitude and the declaration, "I receive you as blessed substance, under grace, and you multiply in my hands for the good of all." When spending or investing, release it with blessing. "You go forth under grace to create good wherever you travel and return to me multiplied, in perfect ways." This conscious blessing creates what might be called grace-filled circulation, where your money carries positive intention and attracts experiences that match its blessed vibration. Bills, paid under grace, often result in improved service or unexpected benefits. Investments made under grace tend to prosper in ways that serve both your financial goals and broader good. Gifts given under grace create joy that returns to you multiplied in countless forms. The alchemy of forgiveness and grace. One of the most powerful applications of grace involves the healing of past financial wounds through conscious forgiveness and release. Old resentments about money, unpaid debts, failed investments, business betrayals, or family financial conflicts create knots in consciousness that block current flow regardless of your other prosperity practices. Grace provides the solvent that dissolves these barriers, restoring free circulation in your experience. Declare with genuine intention, "I place all past financial experiences under grace. I forgive everyone and everything connected to my financial history. All old debts, resentments, and sense of injustice are now dissolved under grace, and I am free to receive my current good in perfect ways." Often, this release creates immediate improvements in financial flow as stuck energy begins moving again, sometimes resulting in unexpected payments, resolved disputes, or new opportunities in areas previously blocked. Living as a channel of grace. the ultimate expression of prosperity under grace, transforms you into what might be called a clear channel, someone through whom divine abundance flows freely because you have removed the internal barriers of fear, control, and manipulation that impede natural circulation. Clear channels experience continuous prosperity because they have aligned their consciousness with grace itself, becoming instruments through which the universe can demonstrate its generous nature. This alignment requires daily surrender of the illusion that you must make prosperity happen through personal effort alone, coupled with faithful cooperation with the guidance and opportunities that grace provides. You become a conscious partner with divine intelligence, trusting its wisdom to arrange your financial affairs while taking inspired action when guidance comes. As you develop proficiency in living under grace, you discover that prosperity flows to you with increasing ease and elegance, arriving through channels so harmonious and beneficial that others are inspired by your example to seek the same graceful path. Your financial success becomes a demonstration of spiritual law in action, proving that wealth can be achieved without sacrifice of integrity, health, or peace. The sacred phrase, "under grace and in perfect ways," becomes your financial insurance policy, protecting you from the hidden costs of forced manifestation while ensuring that your prosperity serves not only your personal needs but also contributes to the greater circulation of good throughout your world. Through consistent application of this principle, you transform from one who struggles with money to one through whom abundance flows gracefully, blessing everyone your prosperity touches while ensuring your own lavish and dependable supply through channels so perfect that even you are amazed by their elegance and rightness.